We're talking actors and directors who put on the shows.
We're talking playwrights and designers who you'll want to know.
From the very first rehearsal to the final curtain call.
We might be off Broadway, but we're talking about it all.
'Cause we're two local gals
With global pals, it's everything, everything, everything theater.
with Benita
And Ellen. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Everything Theater Podcast, the podcast where we talk about
everything theater from A to Z, in this case from C to T, and you'll understand in a moment. Hi, I'm Benita Zahn.
And I'm Ellen Cribbs, and this is normally where I would go on and on about our wonderful sponsor this week. But what's really fun is that our guest today is the amazing Patrick White, who is kind of the mastermind behind our sponsor today. So I'm going to let Patrick talk about the Craft Cast Party that is sponsoring us today.
Let me jump in, Ellen. That's where C to T comes in. Craft.
And Everything Theater is sponsored today by the Craft, which stands for the Capital Region Festival of Theater. And we are throwing a cast party, what's called the cast party. Everyone's invited. And it's going to be at Cohoes Music Hall Sunday night, October 27th at 7 p.m. Actually, update, doors will be open at 6 p.m. So we'll have light fare and we'll have plenty of wine. Josh Sellers, Joseph Carr, Napa Valley is sponsoring the party. So there'll be free wine samples all night long. And we have a cash bar. And there's going to be 10 performances. Ellen will be performing with the cast of Spring Awakening. And there's a wildly eclectic lineup of performers. Everyone from the kids at Q Theater doing Be More Chill to Judy Clements, who is a stand-up comedian who takes her act to retirement homes and assisted living spaces. So it's really underlining the theme of the festival, which is the Capital Region is a great place to love theater your whole life long. And we'll have over $12,000 in raffle prizes. There's going to be a commemorative t-shirt for sale. There's going to be a big company photo. Everyone in the building, we're going to try and get into one photo by Willie David Short, the fifth. And it's going to be a good time.
Patrick, let me jump in and ask you. So there is a fee for this to attend.
Yes, $35.
And it gives you in and all the fun and et cetera. Where's the money ultimately going to? Whatever's left after you've covered your costs.
Yes, and the hall is being donated. Owen Smith and Playhouse Stage are presenting this. We are going to have some cost to it, but it is a fundraiser, and it's going to the Capital Region Festival of Theater, which is a 4-day region-wide festival planned for June 12th through June 15th, 2025. There are costs involved with that. The festival is going to culminate in the UAlbany Campus Center, and we're going to have 20 events, much like the book festival and the film festival that New York State Writers Institute does. But this is also, the festival itself is going to go throughout the region. It starts on Thursday night with a mixer. We're still nailing down details. We'll have more details at the party as well. As far as there are 7 sites where there are going to be festival events in June, but we're also encouraging theaters to have their own program of events, and included all in literature to promote the festival. So it's going to go to expenses for the festival in June.
What's this an outgrowth of? I know, we've all heard the combos if you're involved in the community, but ultimately, what was this an outgrowth of? And then what really put the flame to spark it, Patrick?
I've thought about it for 20 years. With the extraordinary amount of activity in our community, we have 100 theaters. There's a list. It's going to be on the back of our T-shirt. We have 100 theaters producing theater, and members of the theater community don't know how big we are. We are constantly coming across, and I guarantee you, even the most veteran theater goers like you, me, and Ellen will see someone on the Cohoes Music Hall stage on cast night, which you have never seen before. And it's just an amazing collection. There's so much interest, attendance, and I just feel that theater in the capital region does not get its due, even from ourselves. I mean, much less people promoting us or getting the support. I mean, we could be further along. There are a lot of needs in the community. We certainly could do better in a number of areas, so we could raise up the level of consciousness of just how extraordinary the theater community is.
Like, in the beginning, don't you, Ellen? Patrick, you're talking about everything that we're going to see, and you're opening the doors at 6. I feel like there's room for some jugglers to show up and entertain us. We're coming
I
in.
want jugglers. Well, Will Kemp's players, they have juggling. I've seen juggling at a Will Kemp show, so maybe you'll get juggling. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, it's funny because I think I've mentioned this on the podcast before, and I think I've certainly mentioned it to probably both of you. I came from Chicago before moving here and was unfamiliar with the area completely. And I was, at the time, my husband and I were dating and we were trying to figure out where to live. And I was desperately trying to get him to Chicago because my go-to thing was, this is the theater town. I have to be here. This is where my life is. This is where my career is. It's theater. It's here. And he was like, there's theater here. And I was like, no, there's not. And so I finally moved here and was so pleasantly surprised by the wealth
Yeah.
of theater that is in this area.
People in my family go, theater's not really a thing, and I'm like, I've been doing it for 40 years, and I'm like, yeah, it is a thing, and we know, like, opening up Facebook or something, and we see, the listings for this weekend or what's going on. And we just go, there's a festival every weekend, and I just want to collect it together, put a name on it and plant a flag in it and say, look, there are weekends when there are 10, 15 things going on in the capital region, and we're not getting the attention that we deserve, and I just think we should be further along, and that there should be, greater interest. And frankly, I mean, we have people, the Berkshires, lovely summer theater. I mean, world class. New York Times comes up and reviews them. But actors from there come to us. They come over the mountain to perform with us because there is not the theater community in the Berkshires that there is in the capital region. I can't imagine another community in the United States that has what we have.
Do you think part of it, Patrick, is that capital region public relations malaise that the area has, and Toto, sort of been wearing for a very long time, that the area itself, this community, the region, hasn't always recognized the beauty, the value, the depth. There's always seems to be some sort of a sense, yeah, well, we can't get a pro ball team. Yeah, well, we can't. A lot of, yeah, well, we
Yeah,
can't.
yeah, definitely. And I will say that when I proposed this and when I had a couple of general interest meetings, there was an enormous amount of interest. But there's still a I don't know if it's a resistance, a reluctance, or just a wait and see, like, how's this going to turn out, or, oh, I can't imagine this working, but not said directly to me, but so far, there's been an extraordinary response. I mean, Maggie Mancinelli Cahill has been at every meeting. She joined, she was an early joiner. Owen Smith at Cohoes Music Hall immediately jumped in and offered the space
And
and
let me
came up
stop
with.
you. For those who are listening in perhaps for the first time, Maggie Mancinelli Cahill is the producing artistic director at Capitol Repertory Theater, the only pro house in the Capitol
Right,
region. And
right,
for those who know, it's a Lord D theater.
right.
So that's a big deal. And
Yeah,
there's also the whole issue of how much of this is community theater versus pro,
right.
and where's that
I
intersection?
I'm celebrating everything. Like I said, we have from the Q Theater, to Will Kemp's, to Playhouse Stage is performing, and the festival is celebrating everything. It's your whole life long, from 8 years old to 80 years old. That we have something. The seniors, we're going to have a day focused on seniors. There is a group in Sand Lake, the Matinee Theater Players, who write their own plays. They're like 20 or 30 strong. They get together every Tuesday afternoon, stage these things, and bring them out into schools. And there's a group of senior improvisers. There's a group of senior singers, Act Two, I'm sure you're familiar with. Um, but yeah, the original question about the Malays, well, you just got to keep working. You just got to keep, you know, uh, like you guys, keep podcasting, keep talking, and I'm sure you guys never find a week with, oh, we got nothing to talk about this week. There's always something going on, and there's always a new topic, and there are things I discovered there is a black light theater in Rotterdam in the Viaport Mall. And I'm like, what's a black light theater? And I looked it up, and it's a discipline. I think it started in Germany or somewhere, where they create theater in a black light arena. And it's in the mall in Rotterdam. I haven't been to a performance yet, but I'm dying to go.
Well, I just
So,
wrote it on our list. We're going to have to get a hold of them, Ellen, and talk
yeah,
to them.
Yeah.
Eidolon Blacklight Theater. He showed up at one of the general interest meetings that we had to put it together. And, besides Maggie and Owen, I've reached out for donations. We have a huge raffle for the cast party, and 35 companies have donated tickets. Like, if you want cheap tickets, come in, buy $10 worth of raffle tickets, and you could go home with a season package to Mac Hayden for $530. We have hundreds of tickets to shows to give away.
You're more than halfway
Shakespeare.
sold in terms of
What?
seats. You're more than halfway sold in terms of seats for the show.
Yeah.
So
Still
now,
got a ways to go.
right.
Got 16 days. I need to sell 10 tickets a day.
Let's do it, Capital Region.
Let's do it.
To do that, and we're going to put the link up also, but Patrick, how does one purchase a ticket?
Yeah, online, go to the www.thecohoesmusichall.org, scroll down, and we're on October 27th. Cast party to benefit craft.
And it's a Sunday night, so people should be free. I know it was funny because I was like, oh no, I hope I don't have rehearsal. And then I was contacted by the company that I'm working with to perform. I was like, I guess we'll be free.
There are a couple of shows closing, and I was like, I'll come over and help with strike. Don't worry, we'll get you out of there. You got to be done by 6. Yeah, actually, Berta, Black Theater Troupe, they're closing on the 27th, and they are committed to come over. Musical of Musicals is closing on the 27th. Little Shop of Horrors at Arville Stage Creations is closing on the 27th. And, I'm pressuring them. I'm like, we did a strike of Maggie May in half an hour. Come on, you can do it.
Listen, I was supposed to have a rehearsal for the Singing Anchors. We've got a
Oh,
collection of holiday shows we're doing. We're performing at UPH on the 23rd of November, Fort Salem the 24th. We've got two shows, and we just signed. We're going to be at the Bridge Street Theater on December 15th.
oh, awesome.
And, two of us live up here, two are down in New Jersey. So finding the time. So we're going to rehearse on the 27th. I said, no, Mama can't do that. That's something else I got to be at.
Brian Axford's playing piano in the reception area, so you could come over and crank out a few tunes with him.
There you go. I've got a couple of solos I do in the show.
Oh, so, excellent. Excellent.
One's an original, the Jay Kerr. Some of you are familiar with Jay Kerr, maybe. Jay had an illustrious career in musical theater and
Fort Salem.
Owned Fort Salem before the fellas.
Yeah.
He sold to the guys. But so he's our arranger. So maybe hello, Brian. I need a few minutes with you.
Yeah. Owen was, you're showing the space. We're going to use the ground floor, which is the visitor center. I don't know. Have you ever been in there?
Yeah.
I've never been in there. I've done a bunch.
We use it as a rehearsal space. When you perform, when you do things with Park Playhouse Stage Company, Park Playhouse, they will use the ground floor for rehearsal.
Oh, I've never been in there. They have the nice rehearsal studios down the street, but yeah, we're gonna have the party down there, and we're encouraging all theater companies to bring in their posters, banners, so we can have representation of all the companies around.
So you won't be on the stage.
Oh no, the performance is on the stage. Yeah. We're just going to serve drinks and have the raffle set up downstairs and do about an hour and a half downstairs, just because, for 200, 300 people, in that lobby, that'd be kind of crazy. So, yeah. So
what are you going to be doing?
What, me?
Yeah. Fill us in. I know, but the Everything Theater crowd doesn't. What are you doing at the show?
Oh, yeah. So we're reprising a number from Spring Awakening, the very successful run that we did April. So we're doing the song And Then There Were None, which with the amazing Keith Du Bois singing the lead on that, and me having my little interjected adult woman role.
Yes.
So yeah.
His mother, his piano teacher, his
everything, yeah.
So Patrick, who else has signed up? So give us the
who else has signed up? Performances. I'm sure I'm going to miss someone, so I apologize beforehand. There's a new playwright, never heard or met. Steve Grogan is doing something with Maria Muker. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. Will Kemp's player that I mentioned. There is Kelly Blitz is doing a song from Chess. Taylor Hoffman, who's been on the rep stage a couple of times, she is doing I Miss the Mountains, which will be exciting. We have Spring Awakening. Jeffrey Stubitz, who was at Curtain Call Theater in Wait Until Dark in Grand Horizons. He is doing a monologue from The Great Dictator. So that'll be relevant a week before the election. And I know I'm missing someone. A huge get was we brought back a number of Capital Region stars that have gone off to college, and they're coming back to perform. Claire Flynn, who played Carole King this summer, is doing You've Got a Friend with Jake Goodman, John Maltz, and Luca Werner.
Fabulous. Yeah. How long do you expect the show to run?
Hour 15 or so, hour 20, something like that. So that's
not bad on a Sunday night, as Ellen pointed out. Show up at 5, schmooze, raffle tickets, get a little noshing, and so word I had to teach one of my fellow actors out here in Massachusetts. He didn't know about noshing. I said, "Oh, darling, have you never been to New York City?" "Hmm." But now he
What
knows.
kind of theater is that?
That's what I want to know, right? Doesn't everybody know go have a nosh? But whatever.
I used to work at a deli on 57th Street, Wolf's Deli.
Oh my word. Yes, a lot of noshing there.
Yeah.
So, come from, 5 to 6 to schmooze and nosh, and then the show from 6 to 7:30 at about the longest. And then you're home in time to, start your week off and you've done it. You're really enthusiastic and fired up.
Yeah, you're a little bit off on the times. We're opening the doors at 6 o'clock.
Oh, sorry, 6 and the show at 7.
No,
So
that's
it's
all
done
right.
at 8:30.
Yeah.
I was hung up on noshing.
There you go. Yeah, I get distracted myself.
But still,
So,
that's not a late evening for a Sunday. That's wonderful.
right. When Ellen called up and said she wanted to talk about festivals and specifically craft, I was thinking about the number of festivals there are and the different kinds of festivals there are. Chris and I go to the Provincetown Tennessee Williams Festival every summer, and that's devoted to one writer, and it looks at him within the context of his time and his place in Provincetown. And sometimes it's scholarly, and there are different groups that contribute. And then there are festivals like Adirondack Theater Festival or Williamstown Theater Festival, who have a summer run, and they're really just companies, right, producing theater, and maybe not a theme. And then there are festivals like the Book Festival, which is an exhibition. They get together, and the book festival's one day. So this is really what I'm hoping. It's going to be a combination of the two, of scholarly and new works shown off, and a celebration promotion of the area. We do have a theme of loving theater your whole life. So there's going to be education theater curated by Aaliyah Peel, and then there's going to be senior theater curated by the women at Sand Lake Center for the Arts, Carlene Hayden, Val Kavanaugh, Paula Haffey, Susan Frost. Then we're going to have the Rep is going to host an evening of cutting edge theater, new theater. SLOC is doing an afternoon of musical theater, and Fort Salem Theater is going to have companies from the North Country, from the further reaches of the capital region. So it's going to be a combination, and there are groups like Troy Foundry Theater has reached out, like they want to develop something and bring it to the festival. There are people who want to do their play readings. I want to invite you. I'd love to have Everything Theater do a podcast from the festival in June. I think that'd be great. So a number of different things, and it could be one act play performances. It could be an improv class, a yoga class, could be a roundtable where we get together artistic directors from the area. John Saunders of Mac Hayden Theater wants to do that. He says, I never get to see anyone. I'm always in my theater. So I'd like to bring in, a number of artistic directors to talk about what's going on. We could have a celebrity come up and give a lecture or do a meet and greet. We could have, all sorts of things. There was, I posted on Facebook an in memoriam because I'm collecting names of people who passed away in the last year, and I don't want to miss anyone. And people were like, hey, how about this name who passed away 5 years ago? And I don't think it should only be a year. And I'm like, well, we got to set some structure here, or we'll be here all night. But I'd love to do like a legacy of Capital Region Theater and get a room together and talk about the people who created Schenectady Civic, Albany Civic, or the influential people who
So Joe Pava's on your list,
here.
right?
Oh, sure. Yes, absolutely. Someone asked me today, they saw the post and said, Ron Levon, who founded Highlight Acting Troupe, I was like, yes, absolutely. We want to know about everyone, all our forefathers who we stand on the shoulders of, right?
I'm going to switch gears, and Ellen doesn't know that I was going to do this just for a second. You mentioned Adirondack Theater Festival. Big news this week that they are
Right,
coming under the auspices of Proctor's,
right.
joining Capitol Repertory Theater and Universal Preservation Hall. Talk amongst yourselves. Good idea, bad idea, more opportunity, less creativity. What do you think?
Seems to be working well for the rep. I don't know. It's beyond my experience. I know, well, actually, I can speak to it from a Harbinger's point of view, and we have, not even a tenth of the budget. We have whatever 5% of their budget, or I don't know. We do shows for like $5,000, but we collaborate. We always need Sand Lake Center for the Arts or our last show was at Albany Civic Theater. Next year, we're going to be collaborating with other groups. We're doing 2 shows at Sand Lake Center for the Arts. So as far as, groups working together, I think it's, vital, and that's part of the festival as well, is to get out of your own silo. None of us can survive alone, and especially in the theater, which is such a communal art form. You got to have people together, just to show up in the building, and you can't do your art. Your art is not theater if it's alone. It's rehearsal. So from that standpoint, it sounds like a great move.
Yeah, and I'm not as familiar with Adirondack Theater Festival as I should be to kind of know, what changes that will mean to it, but we'll see.
They've struggled. They have struggled. They've done some cutting edge and new work, but financially it's been a bit of an uphill climb. And then, Patrick, I'm wondering, has there been any talk about what's going to happen with the lovely theater on the College of St. Rose campus, which you folks utilized?
Yeah, yeah, we were the last show in there this past April. Not that I've heard. It's about, I don't know, 500 yards away from me. But no, the last I heard was that there is a deadline. The guy who we dealt with, who was in charge of facilities, Gary Goss, said that there's a deadline for anyone who wants to buy the campus as a whole, and I think it's the end of October. But then I don't know whether they're going to sell off pieces or what's happening. But right now, yeah, there's no activity, and there's no and some of the problem I understand with these buildings is that they're bundled together. So if someone wanted to buy the Mastery Center, they can't just buy that center. It comes with 4 or 5 other buildings, and all of them are leveraged, up to their teeth, as I understand it. But yeah, no action yet.
Well, going back to the theater festival, I saw we just got our update that we're running out of time. But one thing I wanted to let listeners know, some people may not be familiar with the theater festival. You might think, what does that do? What can that become? And I think it's so exciting to be in this inaugural year of this craft festival, because my biggest experience with theater festivals is the Edinburgh Fringe Festival in Scotland, which is, I don't know, I would say is the most successful, most exciting theater festival in the world, because the town of Edinburgh completely gets overrun by theater. I mean, you can't go anywhere. Like, you would not want to visit there if you were not wanting to see theater during that entire month. It's an entire month of programming, and people come in for a day, a week. I brought 3 shows that were there for the entire month, and the streets are just lined with people talking about their shows. You meet so many people. You go to a show from people in a German group, and then you're watching like the University of Kansas do a show. It's just all over. And I think it's really exciting to see, we're at the starting year of this Capital Region Theater Festival, and hopefully it will bring people in, and it will be, as you said, Patrick, a destination of people saying, oh yeah, we know that this is the time that the Capital Region is going to be overrun by theater. This is where we want to go to
Yeah.
explore all these different things.
Yeah, and just get the casual observer, just someone like, what are you doing today? Oh, well, there's this thing going on. Let's stop by. And we're gonna have breakfast set out for them, and they can just pop in and see, an improv, and whatever. Yeah, I think it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah. And a lot of work to put together, which my tip my hat to you for all your dedication.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's been fun, and I've met a lot of new people. We started doing these things called fundraisers. So we get together once a week and we'd move it from bar to bar and just meet new people. And every week I met someone new in the theater community. So, extremely valuable, you know, looking to build audience and build a stronger community. Every time you meet someone, you're building a stronger community.
Yeah. And it's crazy how, as you said before, how many actors or artists in the area are not familiar with all the opportunities that are out there.
Yeah. And Chris and I go to 300 shows a year. And I keep track of new spaces we've gone to. And in the past year, first time we went to Arville Stage Creation, first time we went to Schuylerville, first time we haven't been to the Q yet. Uh, you know, so there's always we see new buildings. The Orchard Project is great for new theater spaces up in Saratoga. Uh, yeah, uh, fantastic way to find out more about the community.
Yeah. So everybody come party with us on the 27th.
Yes, yeah. I'm looking forward to it. And like I said, there are people I haven't met yet, and I've been communicating with, and it's really going to be something. I'm very excited. And Joseph Carr, who I reached out to, and he donated, a dozen, more than 2 dozen cases of wine. I was a theater intern with him at Empire State Institute of Performing Arts in the Egg in 1980. He was a college sophomore, I think, Geneseo, and I was a high school senior. And I thought he was the coolest guy. And I still think he's the coolest guy. I just reached out and he was like, yeah, sure. What do you want? I can't believe it. We've known each other 40 years. Holy poop. And I saw Pat Snyder at Lloyd Waiwaoli's Celebration of Life. And she was like, oh my goodness. And she went back and she goes, what show was he in? And I go, I seem to remember him in Livery, moving scenery in Cinderella. And she dug up this old picture and sent it to me. Is this him? And I'm like, yeah, I think that's him. And it's like, it was very cool. And here he is, this billionaire vintner, that Capital Region Theater produced. But
Wow.
yeah, it's a great guy and very generous, and I'm really proud that I met him. And Pat Snyder thanked me. She goes, for all you do for the community. And I was like, Pat, it's like, it's what the community does for me. I mean, like, I can't believe how lucky I am to live here. When I moved back home from New York City, I thought my life was over. I thought I gave up my equity card. I said, I'm getting a retail job and, this is it, dead end, I just make myself cozy with the picket fence or whatever. But I never thought that there was theater up here. And now I'm doing, the most exciting things in my life. I can't imagine more opportunity. I get to act, direct, podcast, produce, review, create a theater festival. And it's because of the community I live in, and it's because of Pat Snyder. It's because of the people I've met and who've influenced me in the Capital Region.
So buy a ticket. The event is the 27th. Doors open at 6. Fun, schmoozing, noshing. We got that in there. Show starts at 7. A host of local performers. Some you've seen, some you wish you had seen before, but now you're going to become familiar with them. It's at the Cohoes Music Hall. Go to the Cohoes Music Hall website to order your ticket. You get a t-shirt, you'll be in a picture, but most importantly, you will be part of something so wonderful and fulfilling and unique to the Capital Region. You're there for day one.
You just jogged my memory. I remembered someone I forgot, a performer I forgot. Shane Camaris is doing an excerpt of the piece that he and Brenna Geffers created, Antonio, or What I Would. And it's sort of an exploration of him playing this gay pirate, Antonio, when he did the summer theater production of Twelfth Night at Saratoga Shakespeare. He took that experience and made a solo piece of it and developed it with Brenna Geffers and Troy Foundry Theater, and he's bringing it to the Cast Party stage. Look at that.
There you go. You just never know. Patrick White, impresario, actor, director, producer, and three-ring circus creator. Thank you so very much.
Oh, and Evan will kill me. I'm doing Moon for the Misbegotten, November 15th through 24th, I think, at Schenectady Civic Players. Moon for the Misbegotten. O'Neill in the Capital Region. Evan Jones will never forgive me if I don't get that.
Now you're good.
Good.
You got it in there. Thanks so much, everybody, for listening. We'll catch you at the party, and we'll talk to you next week right here on the Everything Theater podcast. I'm Ellen Cribbs.
I'm Benita Zahn. Be well. Buy your tickets.
Thank you so much for listening to the Everything Theater podcast. Special thanks goes out to Alice Grinling for our photography and Justin Friello for composing our amazing theme song. Please remember to subscribe to our podcast and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. If you want to share your thoughts or what's going on in your theater community, you can reach out to us on social media or through our email at everythingtheaterpodcast@gmail.com. Till next time, it's everything, everything, everything.